Hi students, today we are going to discuss about different concepts related to cost. So as we all know that costs are the expenses incurred for the production. So what do you mean by production? So we have to define the production process. So it is a process which that you are transforming the inputs into the outputs. So for example, we will take the 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital and entrepreneur, and you are transforming or using all these resources to produce the semi-finished, finished or the final products. So that is always indicated as the letter Q. So this is the content that we are going to discuss in this class. So concepts related to cost: real cost, opportunity cost, money cost, accounting cost, incremental cost, private cost and social cost, fixed cost and short run and long run cost. So costs are very important to run a business because cost which decides how much the total cost of production and on what purpose that the production is made out of. Then we are coming to the first kind of real cost. Real cost, which means the expenses that you incur in the consumption and the production of physical labor and the material consumed in the production process. So always it is used to consume the raw materials in the whole production process of a firm. Next comes to the opportunity cost. It is otherwise known as the best nest alternative foregone. That means the sacrificing amount that you are consuming for the production or the consumption of an output. Next comes the money cost or the economic cost. So here we have a subheads of the explicit cost and the implicit cost. So first we will discuss what is explicit cost. Explicit cost, which means in the introductory part I have already said that production is a process that you're transforming the 4 factors generally to an output. So explicit cost, which means if an entrepreneur or a producer, if he is hiring from the outside, that means from the external source for the production purpose, he has to pay for them. For example, wages for the labor, then rent for the land, etc. So this is what we can call as the explicit cost. When it combines with the implicit cost, because we can see that sometimes the entrepreneur himself which owns some factors of production, so he can also use that cost. That means he is paying for himself itself. So that is what we can call as the explicit cost. So comparing or combining these two costs, explicit cost and the implicit cost, you will get the total economic cost or the money cost. Now we are coming to the accounting cost. So here we can see that it is otherwise known as the explicit cost or the hard cost to run the business. So we will get the money from the accounted streams or the banks. So we will use, or every business persons will use this money for the production purpose. So that is what we can call as the accounting cost. Next we comes to the incremental and sunk cost. First, we will take the incremental cost. Incremental cost is the expense that you incurred, especially for the production of the additional unit of output, whereas sunk costs are those costs which you cannot recover from the production. For example, you are using some kind of advertisement or you are spending for an marketing strategy. So that will come under the sunk cost. So these are the examples of sunk costs. As I have already explained, the advertisement expenditure and also the research, because research and development is one of the major part for the development of a business. So they have to always search about the market demand, what are factors which influences the demand from the side of the customer. So according to that demand, the producers are supposed to be produce the commodities. So they can sustain the day-to-day business process. Next, we comes to the private and social cost. As the term itself indicates, the private cost is the cost per individual. That means for all the individuals have certain costs because according to their doings, or sometimes for their expenses incurred in their production, consumption and all. When it comes to the social cost, it has a social effect. For example, if there is a pollution from an industry, definitely it will have a negative externality or the negative impact on the people who are surrounded with that industry. So that kind of social cost, that kind of cost can be explained as a social cost. So that is the inclusion of both private and the external cost will be there. Okay, next we comes to the fixed and the variable cost. Fixed cost, which means that cost which remain fixed even when the output changes. You are not supposed to change that particular cost. When it comes to the variable cost, you can change according to the output changes. So especially you can see in order to develop or to make a kind of inventories or to develop your infrastructure facilities, of course we can come under all those costs in the variable cost category. Then we comes to the short run and long run cost. In the short run cost, you can see that there will be variable cost and the fixed cost. Some variables, that means the cost expenses, will be fixed in nature, some are variable in nature. But when it comes to the long run, you're getting enough time for the production process, and you can make changes in your production process as a whole. So in the long run, every variable, that means the cost will be varies in nature time to time. Otherwise, in the case of short run, there is no such kinds of variability that you can find in all the factors, but still you can change some factors. Some are fixed in nature too. So we are concluding with this part that cost has an important role in the profit maximization, because profit is considered to be as a backbone of the development of a business. So earnings, that means the profit will always rise upon the revenue and the cost. Thank you.